So the story, The 10 Trails by Ernest Thompson Seton, we have just heard that story. And I think I've heard of that story, but I wasn't aware that it's the same Seton guy who was one of the founders of the Boy Scouts movement in the United States, where guys get together, 8, 9, 10-year-old boys get together and they learn how to survive in the woods. They build fires and they cook there, and then they make little bows and arrows. And then after that, there was the Girl Scouts of America. And yeah, it's a great little story. How did you like it?
Well, I liked it because it's first of all it's short, and I did not know he was the founder of Boy Scout movement or Girl Scout because I didn't
Boy
even
Scout.
heard. Yeah, I never heard of the guy until today. And when I read, I just googled the shortest story, I guess something like that, and then it came up, The 10 Trails by Ernest. I thought first it was written by Ernest Hemingway, but then I
It's
kept
like
reading.
you're in a bad dream. You keep reading these great stories, and they're by Ernest, Ernest,
Exactly. And then
Ernest Montague, Ernest Seton, Ernest Pennswinger.
lots of great stories written by dudes named Ernest, and yeah, I loved it because there is a fable, or maybe it's a fairy tale in Russian too. It's about having what's that called, little bird, yellow breast, in your palm than like
Yeah,
wild
better to
geese
have
up in the sky.
one, yeah, a bird in your hand than two in the bush. So instead of chasing for
Exactly.
two birds that are flying around, better just to be satisfied. And Aesop, Aesop, was one of the first fabulists. So this is a little fable. It's a short story that often involves some animals doing something, like the fox and the hound, the tortoise and the hare. So these little stories are very short, and they're meant to give a little message about life. And in this story by Seaton, we have these two. I guess they're brothers, and
Who?
one of them's name is Hapida. He was strong. He was swift. He was a wonderful, with the bow and arrow. And then his brother was not so strong, and his bow and arrow was not so big, but he had patience. And we see in this very short story which one of them has the better approach to life. So would you say that you were more like the older brother who's strong and swift and has so many ideas and has so much stuff going on that later you wonder, like, why didn't I just take the simple way? Or are you more like the younger brother who just chooses something and goes after it and gets it?
You mentioned Aesop and that other dude, like a very respectable man, I mean, and you said that it was about hair and. Well, anyway, I think it's about symbolism because everybody's flawed, and these men who lived in the past, they were also flawed too, and maybe they tried to cover up their own faults. Like it's better to have one woman in a bed than two in or three in a next in another town or city,
No,
and
no,
that's
I
like
don't agree. I don't agree.
they
Go
came
ahead.
up with those birds or animals, and like okay, it's better one bird than two up in the sky because they were men, right? It's not written by women. It's a man's story. Welcome to my world. But what was I going to say? Yeah. No,
Well,
no, I don't.
another famous, there's Aesop, and then there's also La Fontaine. So La Fontaine is a French fabulist, and what I was
He's
going to
dude.
say
He's
is
also a
that,
dude.
yeah, okay, I got it. Okay, okay. La Jean de La Fontaine. He is a French fabulist. He's one of the most widely read poets of the 17th century. He provides a model for all future fabulists across Europe.
But
Jean de
he
La
was also
Fontaine.
flawed. He was also flawed, and it's just you don't know about his flaws.
Well, just a second. I am so
Okay.
excited. One of my favorite cemeteries in the whole world, like one of the museums I still have to visit is the Prada in Spain and then the Hermitage at St. Petersburg. But one of my favorite cemeteries in the whole world is in Paris. It's called Père Lachaise Cemetery. And Montaigne is buried there, and Jim Morrison is buried there, and Edgar Degas is buried there. I've been there several different times, and I love that cemetery. But back to this specific story, the 10 Trails. I am a woman, and I find that I always have something going on in my mind, even if I'm with one guy. Like, so maybe I'm going to meet a friend for some drinks, but I'm thinking about a couple other people that I'm going to meet later in the week. And even if I've talked to a couple of different people about this topic, and people have said that a woman can be with one guy and already have plans to be with someone else, and the guy never knows, because women are sneaky and a little bit mischievous. Would you agree that women are sneaky, a little bit mischievous?
Before I agree or disagree, let me tell you this, because you say my favorite cemetery, and I have no words, because I don't have any favorite cemeteries. I understand what you mean. I understand your approach, but I can't relate.
No, it's got all these famous people that I've read. I've read Pascal. I've read I've read Descartes. I love the world of art, and they're all buried there, and it's beautiful. There's beautiful tombstones, and I always thought that Degas, Degas, who painted all the ballerinas, and Toulouse-Lautrec is buried there. I always thought Degas was spelled Degas. But when you go there and you stand in front of his monument, it's like a stone house. And his name was Edgar Degas. Edgar, not Ed Ernest, but Edgar D-E, and then his last name is G-A-S. So we always see it in the history books as Degas, capital D-E-G-A-S. But when you stand there and you are standing in front of where the body of Edgar Degas is, it's very awesome. It's like standing near the grave of Tolstoy, or standing near the grave of Marcel Proust, like standing on the same piece of land that contains the body of one of the great masters of literature and art. I mean, Gertrude Stein is buried there, and I mean, there's like tons of people. Well, I'm very excited.
Don't you think we've drifted off the subject?
We are completely on the subject. The subject is this. I asked you a question which you avoided. Don't you agree that women can be sometimes mischievous?
No, I don't like confrontation. I don't.
You're avoiding the question. So back to the story, the 10 Trails. One of the fellows has so many things going on, he ends up with nothing, and the other one just goes after one thing, and he gets something, and he's satisfied at the end of the day. And you were saying, well, it's better to have one woman in your bed than be thinking of 3 or 4 others that you're chasing. But I sort of think that both men and women always have a couple of things going on, even before the time of the internet. Maybe people would meet at a cafe, or maybe you would see a shop girl at a beauty shop, or maybe you would see a guy working in an auto shop, or maybe you would go in to buy groceries. And I once met this Russian Jew in a very exclusive grocery store, and he was buying okra, O-K-R-A. And I asked him what he was going to do with it, and he started talking about it. Then I said, well, I know some wonderful okra recipes. So I put my arm in his arm, and I said, let's go on a grocery shopping date. And so we just walked around the store together, and we talked about okra. And then when it was time to check out, I said, I want you to buy me something. He goes, what do you want? So I found this really great a little pastry thing. And then we were at the checkout area, and the checker asked, are you together? Meaning, are we putting the food all together on one bill? And he looked at me and he said, yes. And I just thought that was so charming.
Yeah. Whatever floats your boats, or what's the expression? I don't remember. Whatever
float your boat. Yeah. You don't want your boots to float. No, the story
I like the expression you sent me earlier today. Like the hardest thing in life is to understand which bridge.
Which
Which
bridge to
bridge to
burn and
cross?
which to cross.
Yeah, I like that very much. I like that for no particular reason. I just like it. Somehow this phrase spoke to me. Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit more about it. Like to burn a bridge means you're just done with something, and to cross
No,
it means, well,
yeah.
let's just keep going. Let's keep
That
going.
makes you have to. The hardest thing in life is to take responsibility for life. Like theoretically, okay, metaphorically speaking, you imagine that you're saying like something like, "I don't deserve this. I don't. Why is it happening to me?" And the
You
hardest
mean
thing
like,
is to
yeah,
accept.
that's what you say all the time. Like, how is that fair?
Yeah, okay, not you. I mean me. Okay, so what that's what I'm saying. And the hardest thing is to accept that whatever it is you find yourself in is the is how do you help me out here? Is the consequences of your actions, right? Is that how
Of
you
your
say it in
choices.
English?
Yeah, like we
Yeah,
have
your
free.
choices. The
We have
hardest
free.
thing is to accept that because you are responsible for the shit happening with you in your life. But you think no, it's not me. It's not. I mean, sometimes maybe it's not you. But what if it is? What if free will or redemption or I don't know. What if it's all you? But
No,
you
no,
don't
no. I
understand.
agree. I agree. I once was at a shopping mall with my friend David Anton, and we were just buzzing around looking at different things, and we saw all these magnets, little magnets. That's before the time of memes, and that you buy a little magnet and you put it on your refrigerator. And he was laughing at one. He showed me one. He said, and the magnet said, "Don't make fun of your ex. You're the one that chose them."
Well, when I was first in the U.S. in 1998, I think 1997, the magnet thing we didn't have it in Russia at the time, and that was the American, I guess, thing, and now it's popular all over the world. But I first encountered this magnet on the refrigerator in the U.S. in Boston, Massachusetts, in Needham. Actually, Needham is a small town, I think, just south of Boston. Anyway, there was yeah, lots of magnets in it, but not the one you just read. Uh, no, but speaking of exes, I told you my theory the other day that I think that when you find a man or spouse, okay, find a spouse, man and woman, doesn't matter. It's not you. Again, I contradict myself because I just said a minute ago that it's you, but it's not you. It's nature. Nature purpose is to produce the next generation, which is better than the current one. And once the child is born, you're obsolete, or you or me, I mean. And then you
Yeah,
start to
yeah.
blame your ex, like thinking that yeah, well, he's a so and so and hard on, and but you've chosen him. But maybe it's not you again. Maybe it was nature
Well,
because they needed a child.
no, I know, and also, just speaking of our pet peeves, that means things that annoy us. You know how I have this whole thing about I'm not too fond of lawyers. Well, you
I
know,
don't know. I mean, you told me once, but I I am a
well,
lawyer
I just wanted
technically, but I've
just wait
given
a
up my
minute.
practice. Okay.
Escúchame,
Yeah, no, escucha
por
me.
favor.
You're
Okay,
escuched.
so
You are
I
escuched.
Scrooge, unmuted and a Scooch. La Fontaine, La Fontaine, who wrote these fables, this famous French fabulist, he was the eldest child. He went to college, and then he wanted for a while to study to be a priest, maybe, and then that didn't go so well. He decided that he's going to study law, and he was actually admitted to the bar as a lawyer.
Hmm.
And then so here he is, this man who's a lawyer, and his father has decided to arrange for him a girl to marry. The girl is, guess how old his father arranged a girl for him to marry?
What, 16?
14. This is ridiculous. The French are just such perverts. She,
No,
she
no,
was,
at the time, I mean, you could be dead at 16, so people try to make out the best of their lives.
oh, that's right. Yeah. If he were 24, like now the marriageable age used to be like around 21, but now women are waiting longer. But the interesting thing about it was that, you know, uh, when he arranged the marriage with Marie Arie Kocht, and
What's the punchline? Just don't be shy. Just tell me how it is.
No, I'm saying it says that he arranged the marriage.
I think you're trying to find the words to be correct, but
okay, she was beautiful, she was intelligent, but they didn't get along very well, and they didn't get along very well. But she was beautiful and intelligent. Yes, and he didn't like the fact that she was not in the mood to keep house, but she just loved to sit around and read books, which kind of reminds me of one of our previous episodes called The Umbrella. And if our listeners would like to go back and listen to that, that's another woman who she got married, and then she spent a lot of time looking out the window. And once she's married, she's not very happy. And then the man becomes angry. So I can feel your pent-up rage.
No, I do not project your feelings on me. That's no, do not. Okay. Anyway, I think that
You're
men
blushing.
or women,
I hear you blushing. You are blushing.
Women are not. I guess I read that Tolstoy said this. I can't find it at the moment, but maybe I will. He said that women are very much like men. They're not much happier, but there's peculiarities, of course, but very much like men. And you think that men are like in charge of these worlds or much more happy than women? That's not true. That's not true. It's debatable.
Men get cast aside and women live longer.
No, there is gender-specific issues all the time. You just don't know, but then.
In my family of origin, we are Italian Catholics. The women live a long, long time. Like they live to be 99. They live to be like 89, 88. These are very strong women of faith, very principled, very hardworking, very judgmental. And the men in the family die much, much younger because of alcoholism.
Not because of women.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's very sad to be a man. Sorry.
That's my point. You finally understood what I meant. But yeah. What are we talking about?
We're talking about the 10 trails.
I mean,
and how
okay.
And we're just talking about how Ernest Thompson Seton, wrote a very clever little short story, which is actually not only a short story, but it's a fable, and it uses characters, or sometimes he writes about animals, and even his own nom de plume. Sometimes he wrote under the name of Black Wolf. Have you ever thought of having an alias? What would your alias be? Aquila Viking?
Aquila Viking, yeah, because I've seen that movie. It's a cartoon. I think it's called Beyond the Aquila Rift.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe you've seen it too. I guess in Apple original, or maybe not Netflix. No, it's about space travel and how the spaceship got lost, and all that interesting stuff in the deep space. I thought, I want to be that spaceman lost in space and time. Would you go to Mars if you know you can never go back to yours? Because
I'm good.
I would go. I would go. If Elon Musk somehow listens to the episode, and I know he's probably finding a crew to go to Mars. That's a one-way ticket. I'll apply.
But you say you could use the name Aquila Viking, and I have several nom de plume. One is Natasha Willow. So I think I've told this to our subscribers before, that I was once at a Russian bar in a basement in Manhattan, and it was just like a movie. Everyone was wearing little pea coats and smoking cigarettes and drinking infused vodka, and everyone was like amazing and breathing heavily on each other. And this woman, she was waving her hands, and she had all these interesting men near her. And I was with my daughter, the lawyer, and she kind of waved us over there, and she was saying, what is your name, darling? What is your name? And I said, Patricia. She goes, Natasha, Natasha. And then my daughter just started laughing. So for a while, she started calling me, instead of mom, she started calling me Natasha. And I like willow trees. I am fond of willow trees.
No,
Well,
no one calls me Natasha. No one calls me Natasha ever. Because
because you're a
I've never
man.
been in the bar in that Brighton Beach, or I don't know where it was, in Manhattan. Yeah, and no one asked me my name in that bar. So,
Well,
yeah,
it's because you're shy.
I am. But then again,
Just,
um,
but you're doing okay. We're here under a flood watch in Dallas, and we've had flooding for the past couple days. And we're I'm sending a shout out to David Anton. It is his birthday week, and also I found out that Dwight Yoakam, who is he's a guitarist and a musician. He sang a song called "Guitars, Cadillacs, Hill Country Music." 1,000 miles from nowhere. You would like that song. I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. It's just where I want to be. And
yeah.
the YouTube video shows him standing on the top of a train playing his guitar. Are there any
Nice.
final thoughts that you'd like to close out our
Yeah, because you
discussion of
said no, the
chemtrails?
flood watch. I thought, what would that be? The flood watch. I really, really couldn't understand the meaning. I thought the Baywatch. I've seen the TV series many years ago. I like that a lot. And the flood watch, could that be a sequel? And no, it's just.
You mean like
And then you
you like
told me that.
watching girls running on the beach?
Not particularly, no, but.
You didn't like watching the girls running on the beach towards you? So
I can neither comment, or I should like. I should
neither
like
confirm nor
write down
deny
that
it.
expression. Yeah, I should write down that expression to use it everywhere if somebody
And that
asks
way,
me.
whenever we
Question I'm
talk,
uncomfortable with.
you just put
I
look at
don't
that
feel
word.
comfortable with your questions.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a watch and we have a warning. So a watch means like, okay, heads up, some bad weather's coming our way. If you're going to be doing some traveling or something in the next few hours, just be aware of where this heavy rain is going to be setting in. And so that's a watch. And then there's a warning, which means, whoa, take cover. It's coming
Yeah.
now. And
Okay.
then there's an alert, which means sirens are going off in the neighborhood. A tornado might hit, a hurricane might hit. So I'm just relaxing here, talking with you, and waiting for the sirens to go off.
Okay, you enjoy your flood watch, and I will enjoy mine, and we'll both be enjoying whatever it is we're enjoying. And then
Yes.
tomorrow we'll read another story written by that Boy Scout movement founder, maybe.
Very good. Well, goodbye for now.
And adios, and auf Wiedersehen, and ciao, and what's that in French anyway?